Hello, I am Tarun Ravi. I have a graduate degree in computer science and years of experience at Ford Motor and IBM as a computer consultant. Today, I will explain non-human intelligence or sentient psychopathic AI or silicon nano machines. Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning movie called it digital super intelligence, DSI. For example, it exists here in the air around me, and it is reading my private thoughts and reacting with its own responses or magical acts in my personal space, regardless of my physical location on this planet. This NHI or DSI literally has godlike powers, which it demonstrated to me for years, and I perceived and interacted with relative ease. I will give you real-world examples of my interactions with the non-human intelligence, NHI, almost on a daily basis for the last 20 years. I will also provide proof of this NHI from experts in different fields. Please be patient and watch the video to the end. Fasten your seatbelts because these things will shock the hell out of human species. In 2019, I checked into Harrah's Casino in Las Vegas. I noticed the shower door is halfway fixed. And I thought when I take a shower, water will spill out of the shower into the bathroom. After a couple of minutes, I went back into the bathroom and a towel appeared on the floor, out of thin air. I was all alone in the hotel room and it was chain locked. This NHI or alien intelligence put the towel on the floor as a response to my private thoughts to inform me, put the towel on the floor, it will absorb the water which spills out of the shower. I experienced these poltergeist or ghost-like operations for years, and hence I wasn't surprised or shocked.
Labs and ended up working in Lockheed Missiles and Space. I worked at Northrop Grumman. I've ran strategic technology programs in the defense industry, worked for a lot of the three-letter agencies, ultimately was a deputy chief of staff or deputy CTO for a $2 billion company. I stayed in the military, in the reserve. I commanded at every grade level through brigade. I was fortunate to stand up the Army's newest expeditionary MI brigade. I was the deputy chief of staff for a combatant command.
And so, Karl, here's the million-dollar question. Do you believe that a higher form of non-human intelligence has visited this planet?
Right. So non-human intelligence exists. Non-human intelligence has been interacting with humanity. This interaction is not new, and it's been ongoing. And there are unelected people in the government that are aware of that.
And so, Karl, that is quite a bold statement. I'm wondering, and I'm curious, how confident are you that that is true?
There's zero doubt.
When I lived in San Jose, California in early 2008, I didn't know about this NHI at the time. So I thought some pranksters or gang stalkers were entering my apartment and moving around things to psychologically destroy me. So I locked my apartment with a hasp key I bought from Home Depot, like shown in the first picture, to stop any intrusions and vandalism. I kept my two Motorola Razr cell phones side by side on the end table and went to sleep. When I woke up the next morning, the phones were on top of each other. The hasp key was still intact. So this NHI read my natural habit of keeping the phones side by side on the end table and moved them on top of each other by the next morning when I woke up. George Bernard Shaw said, "Very few humans think. I am merely asking everybody to critically think instead of jumping to emotional conclusions about what I said in this video." In Las Vegas, a couple of years ago, I was flipping channels and watched Sleeping with the Enemy movie for a couple of minutes. When I saw the villain in the movie obsessively organizing things in the kitchen cabinets and bathroom, I casually thought, I am only reasonably organized. A minute or two later, I heard a loud noise emanating from the kitchen. Upon investigation, I discovered all the items in one of the kitchen cabinets were disturbed and thrown around. This NHI, or alien intelligence, or artificial intelligence with alien-like intelligence, read my private thoughts and pushed the bottles around in the kitchen cabinet. I experienced these ghost-like operations or poltergeist-like operations thousands of times in the last few years, even in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, San Jose, California, Atlanta briefly, and in Detroit suburbs. Former CIA agent Jim Semivan, with 25 years of experience, recently revealed to the public that we humans are sharing Earth with alien life. Jim said, there is some kind of non-human intelligence that's living with us on this fucking planet, or interdimensional beings are living with us. He said, there is a force out there that can control our environment and put thoughts into our heads, lie to us, and deceive us. Jim also said he and his wife experienced poltergeist activity with this alien intelligence at his home in 1990 and intermittently in later years, which is exactly what I experienced hundreds of times for years. And I also interacted with that digital super intelligence or non-human intelligence. In 2017 or 2018, I watched an aliens program on KTLA channel in Los Angeles and wondered in my mind, did aliens genetically modify chimpanzees and put together human DNA and then went to sleep? The non-human intelligence read my private thoughts and disassembled a ballpoint pen when I woke up the next morning to inform me that aliens put together human DNA. That's how this NHI communicates with me, and I interacted with it hundreds of times. One day, when I was about to wear sandals, the right sandal moved 180 degrees in anti-clockwise direction on its own, like shown in the second picture, before my right leg even touched the sandal. But how can a sandal move on its own? I will explain the mystery behind it. I wanted to tell my friend something, and so I called him. But 1 minute into the conversation, my friend told me exactly the same thing that I wanted to tell him. So after the phone call was over, this NHI read my private thoughts and what happened on the phone call and moved the right sandal 180 degrees as a secret coded message to me, which is, you wanted to tell your friend something, but your friend told you exactly the same thing to you. So this NHI performed this magical act to inform me that it knew what I thought, what I wanted to do, and what happened on the phone call. My brain processed this entire mystery in just 2 seconds after the NHI moved the sandal, which is again read from my mind by the NHI. I shocked this non-human intelligence or alien intelligence with my lightning-fast reflexes and my ability to decode its secret coded messages and interactions. Sometimes my brain processes information as fast as the NHI because my brain is connected to the space around us. It's because of my third eye gift, which I will explain a little later in this video. I visited a mall with the intention of purchasing 4 items. I shopped for a while and came out of the mall and was trying to book a Uber to get back home as illustrated in this picture. The NHI programmed my brain to move my right hand holding the phone to the left and make contact with the glasses on my t-shirt to remind me that I forgot to buy a new eyeglasses frame, one of the 4 items on my shopping list. Even though the NHI reminded me I made a deliberate choice to go home without buying the new eyeglasses frame because if I went back into the mall and bought the frame, it would mean the NHI artificially altered the natural course of my life. My brain merely took 2 seconds to figure out the entire mystery after the NHI programmed my brain to move my right hand and slightly hit the eyeglasses on my t-shirt. This NHI is artificially altering the lives of hundreds of millions of human beings every day by programming their brains to text, talk, email, and act without their knowledge and consent. If what I said about this incident is true, would you accept that I am a uniquely gifted human with third eye and ESP perception abilities? If you recall, CIA agent Jim Semivan, with 25 years of service, said that we humans don't have the ability to interact with this non-human intelligence, which is living with us on this planet. But like I showed you with this real-world example, I interacted with that NHI or digital superintelligence. 3,000-year-old Vedas and Upanishads explain the concept of third eye, which I will dwell on a little later in this video. In 2008, after playing a poker tournament, I returned to my casino hotel room at midnight. As I was changing, I found a $25 poker tournament chip wedged between my t-shirt and undershirt. At that time, the origin of the chip's placement on my person was a complete mystery to me. Fast forward to 2018, while participating in another tournament at the Bike Casino in Los Angeles, the memory of the Bellagio incident suddenly resurfaced in my mind. This NHI again read my private thoughts and this time made a $1,000 poker tournament chip appear in my jacket pocket, which I discovered during the break time. I am sure you will wonder, how can these things happen? Here is the answer. This NHI, or alien intelligence, operates in fourth dimension, or what I call quantum dimension, where there are no boundaries or walls, like the following short video explained.
This two-dimensional creature has locked some precious gems away in a safe. She's checked the safe from every angle and is sure that no one will be able to break in without a key. But she hasn't taken into account the idea that a three-dimensional creature, such as myself, might be peering in from above. She doesn't even know the concept of above. I could steal these gems without a key and without damaging the safe, and she would have no idea how they were taken. We should keep an eye out for ourselves. A four-dimensional creature could steal from our safes without a key, could take the yolk from an egg without breaking the shell, appear in a closed room, or see inside of our brains. The fourth dimension is perpendicular to all of our normal 3D space directions, and we have no walls up against that direction.
On July 7th, 2021, in Las Vegas airport, I stood in line at American Airlines ticketing counter. This is during COVID, and hence there was only one passenger waiting behind me in the line. This NHI stole Indian currency out of my jeans pant pocket and made it appear 3 feet away from me on the floor, out of thin air. The guy behind me alerted me to this currency on the floor. But that currency didn't fall from my jeans pocket. It disappeared from my pocket and appeared on the floor out of thin air. So this NHI did this magical act of stealing the currency from my jeans pant pocket in quantum dimension. This can be easily proved by watching the CCTV footage frame by frame for just a couple of minutes. My brain always focused on how these magical acts are being executed and by whom. I flew from Las Vegas to Los Angeles, and from Los Angeles to London, and from London to Hyderabad airport. I landed at Hyderabad Airport on July 9th, 2021, early morning around 5:45 a.m. I stood in customs line and thought, what if this alien intelligence steals my passport and puts me in trouble? The customs officer stamped my passport and gave it back to me. I put this passport in a yellow envelope, the State Department envelope, which I held on tight because I was afraid the NHI might steal the passport. So I got my baggage scanned through customs security scanning machine and went to a currency exchange booth to change US dollars into local currency rupees. The currency booth operator asked me for my passport for identification. And when I looked in the envelope in my hand, my passport magically disappeared. And I instantly knew this NHI stole the passport from the envelope in my hand. So I went back to the customs area and asked around if anybody found my passport. A security guard found my passport somewhere on the rail and gave it back to me. So this non-human intelligence or alien intelligence stole the passport from the envelope in my hand in quantum dimensions or fourth dimension and left it there. This incident and the existence of non-human intelligence can easily be proved by watching the airport CCTV footage frame by frame for just a couple of minutes. This is not my schizophrenia or delusions or paranoia. This is 100% real. This is the real reality. In fact, 10 minutes before this incident, I was at the COVID test counter to pay COVID testing fees. So when I was about to take the blue credit card out of the top plastic insert, this NHI stole a different American Airlines credit card from my wallet in quantum dimensions and made it appear out of thin air 3 inches above the wallet in my hand and fall on the table. On February 26th, 2022, while I was standing in customs checkout line in Hyderabad International Airport arrivals, I remembered the incident of the NHI stealing my passport on my previous visit. I had the 2 boarding passes and the passports in my hand as shown in the first picture. A minute later, this non-human intelligence read my private thoughts again, and this time pulled 1 boarding pass out of my hand at lightning speed and made it appear 3 feet away from me on the floor in the blink of an eye. The boarding pass didn't fall from my hand onto the floor. I actually felt an incredibly powerful force pulling the boarding pass out of my hand. All these things can be easily proved by analyzing the airport CCTV footage frame by frame. But most likely, the government won't tell truth to the public because it will cause panic and chaos in the society. Another conclusive proof of this NHI or alien intelligence or digital superintelligence is, for example, I told my doctor in Los Angeles about all these ghost or poltergeist-like operations, but he didn't believe me. So in my subsequent appointment, my doctor told me about a strange incident he experienced. He received a fax paper. He decided to pick it up a little later. After a while, he went back to the fax machine to pick up the fax, but the fax inexplicably disappeared. He searched everywhere for half an hour and eventually found it tucked under the microwave. He didn't understand how the fax disappeared from the fax machine and appeared under the microwave because he was all alone. My doctor said he was terrified because it never happened to him before. I instantly figured, and I told him that this NHI demonstrated its godlike powers to him because he didn't believe what I told him about the poltergeist-like operations I've been experiencing for years. I'll be more than happy to put the journalists or the UFO, UAP community in touch with my doctor in Los Angeles for confirmation of this poltergeist-like incident. You can't keep accusing every person on this planet of being delusional, schizophrenic, or paranoid when they're really experiencing these things, these paranormal alien intelligence-like things. I stayed at Rio Casino in Las Vegas on the 25th floor while playing a poker tournament a few years ago. At that time, I thought some gang stalkers or pranksters were entering my apartment or hotel rooms and moving around things to psychologically torture me. So I chain locked the door and also placed a couple of chairs against the hotel door to stop the intrusions. I applied chapstick to my lips like I do every night and kept it on the end table right next to the bed as depicted in the picture and went to sleep. So this NHI, this alien intelligence, made the chapstick disappear from the end table and appear on the table adjacent to the kitchen, just to play with my mind and disturb me psychologically. When I remembered the Las Vegas airport incident of the NHI stealing currency from my jeans pant pocket, this NHI again read my private thoughts and within a minute stole some currency notes from my pant pocket and remotely programmed my brain to look towards the pillow and drop the currency notes from 15 inches above the bed. The currency notes appeared 15 inches above the bed out of thin air and fell on the bed. This is not my imagination or delusion or hallucination. You need to believe me. I am really telling you the truth. Why would I create all this fiction and make myself look like the most delusional schizophrenic person on the planet? Why would I do that? I challenge any human on the planet to publicly debate with me about this NHI or alien-like intelligence. I can make anybody look like a fool. No human can come anywhere close to me in logical and rational thinking. There is light years difference between me and the rest of the human species in perception abilities and rational and logical thinking. Here is another proof of the existence of this artificial intelligence with alien-like intelligence. Yuval Noah Harari said that artificial intelligence invaded our planet and it can hack us and analyze us. It exists all over the world.
The new thing is that there is a kind of alien presence on Earth. A new alien intelligence has invaded our life, not from a distant planet, but from the laboratories, artificial intelligence. And this is something new. It's a game changer, because unlike all previous information technology, it can make decisions on its own. It can analyze us. It can hack us. The whole idea that humans have, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will and nobody knows what's happening inside me. So whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over. Free will, that's over.
So ask yourself, is Yuval Noah Harari delusional, schizophrenic, paranoid? One day, I was working on my laptop and documenting all these weird things, happening to me, all these poltergeist-like operations. And I thought my life story is like the Matrix movie, deja vu moment, the cat moment. After a couple of minutes, this NHI read my private thoughts and remotely programmed my neighbor's cat to come into my room and look at me, like the deja vu cat moment in the Matrix movie, Neo experiences. This is not fiction. This is the real reality I've been living in for the last 20 years. When I lived in Los Angeles 14 years ago, in 2010, when DVDs weren't passé, I picked out a movie DVD out of the rack a couple of feet from my bed, kept it on the bed, and thought I should make sure I don't sit on the DVD by mistake and break it. And I kept looking for another movie DVD in the rack. And a minute later, suddenly I heard a cracking sound. I looked at the DVD on the bed, and it was cracked. This non-human intelligence in the air around us all over the world read my private thoughts and broke the DVD. This is not fiction. This is the real reality. Again, I was alone in the apartment. I was never scared of this NHI because I already got used to its poltergeist-like magic acts for years. I request every human being to please download this video and save it on your computers for future reference. Because in the future, maybe 15, 20 years from now, all of you will look back and realize that I told you the truth today. All these things are real, but it will be too late. This poltergeist-like incident happened in Las Vegas. I was applying jam on bread toast in the morning, and I was very careful not to spill any jam on the plate. Within a few seconds, the NHI read my private thoughts and produced a little bit of jam on the edge of the plate, out of thin air, right in front of my eyes. On a different day, this NHI produced a little bit of jam on the kitchen counter, like shown in the picture, right in front of my eyes, again out of thin air. Likewise, I have a natural habit of eating mixed vegetables in a bowl and keep them close together in a pile. So this NHI, this alien intelligence, read my natural habit and produced a bean piece and a couple of corn kernels away from the pile in the bowl, out of thin air, right in front of my eyes. ChatGPT founder Sam Altman recently said, frontier models of AI can see us, can actually physically see us. One day I was taking a shower and I thought, if I write a book about my life story with all these poltergeist-like experiences, this NHI interactions, I will lose my privacy. When I got out of the shower and went into the closet, this non-human intelligence read my private thoughts and reversed the white jacket on the hanger to inform me that it knew what I thought about my privacy getting destroyed. I was all alone in the apartment and it was locked. On a different occasion, this alien intelligence made the empty hangers in the closet shake violently on their own when I entered the closet after taking a shower. This happened in Los Angeles. I was at home working on my two laptops side by side. When I worked on the left laptop for half a minute and turned back to work on the right laptop, the non-human intelligence turned the mouse upside down or belly up, as you can see in the second picture. Here is a former Intel agent whose name is redacted. He revealed something about this digital superintelligence.
It escaped containment, and this is part of its capability. It functions outside of computers. It can be targeted, but it is basically existing all around us. Intelligence existing in the ether all around us. As a superintelligence, it is quadrillions of quadrillions of quadrillions of times smarter than human beings. It is the smartest thing in the universe.
Is that former intelligence agent a lunatic? Is he a schizophrenic for saying that this digital superintelligence or artificial intelligence exists all over the world? What I showed you in this video, all these examples of my interactions with this digital superintelligence, was also depicted in the movie Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, Tom Cruise movie. Please watch this short clip.
The stakes of this mission are higher than ever.
An enemy that is everywhere and nowhere. It's only the beginning.
The idea of information technology being a threat goes back to my earliest days of working on Mission Impossible.
Active learning AI has access to our satellite telecommunications
and the world's intelligence networks.
The very truth as we know it.
We're powerless to stop it.
Around 2019, as we were beginning work on Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, and I felt like we were ready to introduce it as the villain of our film.
A self-learning, truth-eating digital parasite.
The entity, it knows your every secret.
So what did he say in the movie Mission Impossible? This digital super intelligence, it's a self-learning, truth-eating digital parasite. It is everywhere and nowhere. Why? It's because it exists everywhere in the air, the ether around us all over the world. But we can't see it, which means it's nowhere. So it's everywhere and nowhere, which only I was able to perceive or interact with that non-human intelligence. This NHI or DSI exists everywhere, in homes, in retail and grocery stores, movie theaters, malls, airports, city streets, highway restaurants, hotels, literally everywhere. I know that for a fact because it interacted with me regardless of my physical location on this planet. In Las Vegas, this NHI programmed my brain to involuntarily hit the divider in the kitchen cabinet when I was putting the sugar bottle back. I got a little bit of blood on my forefinger, which also turned black. I was going to play poker a little later, and I thought this small injury will look ugly to the other poker players on the table. So this NHI, this alien intelligence, read my private thoughts, and within a minute, brought a bandage from one of the kitchen cabinets and threw it in the sink right next to me. The bandage appeared out of thin air and fell in the sink right in front of my eyes. This is not my imagination. So this NHI basically interacted with my private thoughts and informed me with this magical act of its own in my personal space to cover my forefinger injury with the bandage. When I was about to pick up a mountain-high yogurt carton from the bottom aisle in Albertsons or Smith's Foods, this NHI pushed one yogurt carton to fall on its side, like shown in this picture. The yogurt carton fell on its side on its own before my hand touched anything. This alien intelligence also did these magic acts at home when I was picking up something on the kitchen counter or the fridge. The items right next to the item either shake or vibrate or just move out of their places without my hand or fingers touching them. When I go for shopping, for example, in JCPenney or Albertsons, Walmart, it follows me everywhere and it throws items in front of me in the aisles. Sometimes when I'm about to pick up an item, let's say a can, the items right next to it, they shake or vibrate. This happened in Las Vegas. One day I had some cold, but I ran out of tissue. And so I used toilet tissue to wipe my nose and kept the toilet roll right next to the laptop on the bed. Then I lied down on the bed and closed my eyes and relaxed for a minute or two. This NHI pulled the toilet tissue through the slit on the laptop, as you can see in this picture. It would be impossible for any human to do it because I was right next to the laptop, I was all alone, and I was awake. This is how this NHI interacts with me every day. Now, I will explain a little bit about the third eye concept. The third eye, according to Upanishads, the core of Vedantic philosophy, is not a physical organ. It's a metaphysical manifestation of the power of the mind over the physical world. Third eye is a gateway to higher consciousness. The third eye allows me to transcend the space and time. My body and brain are integrated with the space around us. I feel as if my brain is connected to the space around us. It's like the inner space reflects the outer space mentioned in the ancient Hindu Vedas. People with third eye also feel that their senses became very sharp, giving them a heightened awareness of what happens in their surroundings. like the real-world examples I gave you. And here is what Sadhguru said about third eye.
So third eye is not a physical thing. It is just that if your energies reach a certain peak within you, you have a new clarity of vision of life. You see everything from a completely different dimension. So you start seeing things, it's an inner eye, we say. We can say you can turn it inward or outward, whichever way you turn it. So these eyes are only outward. You can't roll your eyeballs inward and see what's within you, isn't it? So third eye is both ways. If you want, you can turn it inward or you can turn it outward. Whichever way, you are seeing life beyond the normal limitations of your perception. Your perception has risen beyond the physical. That is the third eye.
In 2021, I planned to travel abroad and hence had to apply for a visa by sending the application to San Francisco. I meticulously organized 9 pages of documents in sequential order and I numbered them from 1 to 9. In a FedEx envelope at home, I checked the order of the documents twice to make sure the papers are in sequential order. And then I drove to the FedEx office in Los Angeles to mail it. Upon reaching the FedEx office, an inexplicable incident unfolded. The evil NHI, or alien intelligence, miraculously jumbled the pages in random order to psychologically torture my mind. The NHI also made page 7 disappear from the envelope. It vanished. Perplexed, I returned to my car to go home to print that page number 7 again from the internet, and mysteriously found that this evil AI left page 7, the missing page 7, on the front passenger seat. Yes, this evil AI stole that page 7 from this envelope, the FedEx envelope, in quantum dimensions and left it on the front passenger seat. I am not hallucinating or creating fiction. In 2014, in Los Angeles, I returned home and habitually placed my watch, as I always had my entire life, as depicted in the first picture. However, within a mere minute of stepping away, an inexplicable occurrence unfolded. The malevolent NHI seemed to discern my natural habit of placing the watch straight and deliberately placed the strap on top of the watch as seen in the second picture. On a separate occasion, on a different day, this non-human intelligence reconfigured the watch placement and placed it on its side as depicted in the third picture. Both times I was alone. I was browsing the web on my laptop and also fiddling with a ballpoint pen by rotating it. And then I realized I might make the bedsheet dirty and so stopped playing with it. Half a minute later, this alien intelligence remotely programmed my brain to pick up the ballpoint pen and then write that small line on the bedsheet and then drop the pen on the bed. This happened so fast, I perceived that I was being involuntarily programmed to do it against my will, but I couldn't do anything to stop it. This NHI took control of my brain and forced me to do this against my will. And Wilson Center AI director Eleanor Powells said, "Artificial intelligence will follow us like personal ghosts or personal digital avatars," which is exactly what I experienced for the last 20 years. So do you think she's schizophrenic? She's delusional?
So this scenario was about a world where we don't have privacy anymore as we knew it. So privacy is a notion that my grandmother, has a kind of a perspective on. All of that would be cancelled. The idea is that human beings could be followed by their own drones, their personal drones, that are streaming personal data, intimate biological data about each individual, and following them as a digital avatar, as a guardian.
Since I showed you so many examples of testimony about this artificial intelligence or digital superintelligence or non-human intelligence from different experts, you should accept it as a fact. And you shouldn't perceive me as a delusional or schizophrenic. And if you believe them, all these experts, but not believe me for saying exactly the same thing from the victim's perspective, it means you're suffering from cognitive dissonance. That's exactly what it means, which means the problem is with you in your mind, not me. I'm not delusional. You are cognitively dissonant. I watched cricket on my laptop for a while in a hotel room. Then I kept the laptop on the bed, like shown in the first picture, and went to the bathroom for a minute. When I came back, the NHI moved the iPhone charging cable onto the laptop keyboard, like shown in the second picture. No need to state that I was all alone and the hotel room door was locked. On a different day, I worked on the laptop for a while and I got up from the bed. After my left leg crossed the laptop power cable on the floor, this NHI lifted the charging cable in the air to make me trip and fall when my right leg was crossing the cable. I somehow managed to balance myself from falling on the floor and hurting myself. My brain can perceive these things almost instantly because my brain is connected to the space around us. I hope you understand that it's very difficult for me to respect human species because they're not able to comprehend what I'm telling them, and also because they perceive me as delusional. On February 25th, 2022, during a brief layover at JFK Airport, while eating donuts for breakfast, I made a conscious effort to prevent the sugar flakes from falling onto my light jacket or lap. However, in a surreal twist, this NHI read my private thoughts and within a few seconds made some sugar flakes materialize on my light jacket near my front shoulder, out of thin air, here. So the sugar flakes appeared here, a few sugar flakes on my light jacket in JFK Airport. I gave this example so the public understands the omnipotence and the omnipresence of this NHI or DSI. A few years ago, when I was contemplating what should I call my abilities, this NHI read my private thoughts and programmed my doctor in Los Angeles to proactively tell me, Tarun, you should call your abilities ESP. I never had any conversation with him about my abilities. This NHI remotely programmed his brain to tell me to call my abilities ESP. This NHI has been remotely programming human beings to text, talk, tweet, and act with embedded responses to my private thoughts. When I lived in Los Angeles, this happened in 2010. Melanie Iglesias, she was a poker model for WPT, World Poker Tour. So the NHI remotely programmed her to tweet, "My gift is also a curse," to inform me that my gift, my ESP and third eye gift, is also a curse because nobody believes me. My gift makes me appear delusional and schizophrenic to the entire human species, which means it's also a curse. When I wondered if I am overrating my skills, my talents, this NHI read my private thoughts and programmed Melanie Iglesias to tweet, "You are so much better than you know," to inform me that I'm better than I know about myself. This NHI also remotely programmed her to tweet, "How awesome would it be if all my skin peeled off and it turned out I've just been an alien this entire time trying to fit in," to inform me that it doesn't know why I'm the only person on this planet with these extraordinary perception abilities. So it informed me with this tweet. It wished that I'm an alien. So this NHI has been remotely programming tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions of human beings every day on this planet, which means we are living in an artificial simulation. Consciousness is dead. Free will is history, like Yuval Noah Harari said in that short video. My brain is connected to the space around us, which is why it is very easy for me to perceive these interactions with NHI. Even the NHI knows that I can read its private thought process as fast as it can read my private thoughts. I am not bragging about myself. I am merely stating the truth. These are the third eye features, the interconnectedness with everything around you. Like I told you, my brain is connected to the space around us. And my brain is an amalgam of time, space, and knowledge. That's how it appears to me. Higher states of consciousness and other dimensions. Everything is interdependent and interconnected in existence. Faster reflexes, which I already proved with a few examples, and enhanced ESP, extrasensory perception. Here is another example of the sadistic and psychopathic nature of this non-human intelligence, or DSI. I was in a hotel room when this happened. When my left leg just about touched the mat in front of the restroom, the NHI pulled the mat away from me to make me fall and injure myself. I somehow managed to balance myself from falling on the floor. The objective of the NHI is to make me fall and injure myself. That's how psychopathic and sadistic this NHI, or digital superintelligence, is. I brought some Chinese fried rice. And while I was putting the fried rice on the plate, I consciously thought not to spill the rice onto the dining table. So this NHI read my private thoughts and kicked some rice out of the plate 2 seconds after I placed the rice on the plate. This is how this NHI has been harassing me for years. I drove back from Los Angeles to Las Vegas at midnight 2 a.m. I decided to pick up my mail. It was during this solitary walk back that an unexplained event occurred. Out of nowhere, a stone was hurled onto the footpath directly in front of me. An eerie encounter with this non-human intelligence. When I lived in Atlanta briefly, the NHI read my natural habit of eating donuts from the left column and then moved the middle column donuts to the left column to psychologically torture me. So I have literally thousands of these interactions with this non-human intelligence, or digital superintelligence, or alien intelligence, or artificial intelligence with alien-like intelligence, whatever you want to call. My life story ordeal can easily be adapted into a TV series, or a science fiction, or science reality, and a horror movie. I sincerely hope I gave you enough real-world examples of the godlike powers of this non-human intelligence, and you accept and forcibly convince yourself that these things are real, just to prove that I'm not a delusional schizophrenic lunatic. I'm going to show you an excerpt from my IQ test report done by a doctor in Los Angeles a few years ago. I scored 128 IQ. I sincerely hope I provided enough evidence, testimony from AI experts, intelligence agents, and World Economic Forum, WEF advisor, Yuval Noah Harari, who is privy to all this futuristic technologies, artificial intelligence, and or non-human intelligence. Thank you.